I've got too much baggage in a way. I'm already trying to take steps to move towards it.
Travelling's the best. It's like an escape.
Oh, for sure.
Hey, can you guys write what you think the other person's name is? What do you think they're studying? And what's their cultural ethnicity?
My name is Lachlan, that you're 19, that you do communications and media, you're Harry Potter cast with being Africa, and that's your life.
Okay, I think you're Megan, that you're 19 and you also do comms and media, and you're also in Hufflepuff, and you're also white. Great diversity.
What you do?
I'm almost 19.
Okay, I'm Harrison, I'm 20, and I do journalism. And I'm a Ravenclaw, by the way.
I wouldn't have like a time frame, but like just good music, good people, a chilled environment, I guess a footy game. St George, sorry.
They played well yesterday.
They did. Yeah, probably that's probably the best day.
No, fair enough. Share an embarrassing moment in your life.
I don't want to. My stepdad likes to tease me a hell of a lot, and I have a really close friend, and we were driving with him in the car, and he kept calling out that he was my boyfriend to people that he knew, so it's not really embarrassing me, but it was.
Yeah.
That's probably the most recent, but I just had way too many.
Yeah, it's hard to pick one, eh?
Yeah.
I think the worst for mine, and we're going off PG here, it was like the day after my 18th party, and had a girl, and one of my mates and his missus walked in and then saw us, and so that was embarrassing enough, but then he went out into the kitchen and basically told my entire family, including grandparents and aunties and uncles and stuff, that I was getting it on.
What is your most treasured memory?
Probably just playing footy. As an 18-year-old, I'd won a bunch of grand finals and they were treasured, but I think the best was playing for my school team. It was just a really good feeling, just with the entire school there to watch. It was something else. But yeah, treasured that a lot that day.
Mine's probably when I was 16, my little sister was born, and she has Down syndrome, so going into that community and being able to see like a whole new side of society really is probably my most treasured thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Heartwarming in a way.
Yeah.
No, it is. What's the greatest accomplishment in your life?
Oh, graduating high school, because I didn't want to. Like, I wanted to drop out in year 11, and I nearly did. And I managed to actually do my HSC, which was pretty cool. So that's probably it. I don't know.
Yeah, mine's probably the same, high school or just getting into uni. Like, it was always a pressure, and it always gave me a bit of anxiety. But looking back at it now, you're just like, well, it wasn't that hard.
Yeah.
I don't know, in the moment, it's the worst thing ever.
How close and warm is your family? Do you feel your childhood was happier than most other people's?
Excellent question. Now it is very close and warm family, absolutely. As a child, not particularly. Like, we were always close, but my dad commuted a lot, so he wasn't necessarily home throughout the week, and he went on business trips. So he was home, but not as much as you'd say a regular parent was. So there's just that kind of divide in the family. So I was always closer with my brothers and my mum, but Dad was just a bit more distant. He tried his best, but he couldn't. But then when in my mid-teens, we made a bit of a life change, and he was there a lot more, and he tried to make up for it a lot. So I've become a lot closer to him in the last 5 or so years. So yeah, now I'd say we're a very close family, but it wasn't always the case.
So my parents split when I was 3 or 4, so it was always hard as a kid, and I think they did the best that they could given everything, but it probably wasn't the best. My dad had a couple crazy girlfriends that we had to deal with, so that wasn't really great, and that put a divide in our family. But I think now that my brother's 23 and I'm 19, we understand a lot more and we're more understanding. So now it's all right. It's not too bad now. What is your most terrible memory? Terrible memory that continues. It's like a continuous thing. A certain person. They're very selfish. So everything is put onto me, and I'm 19. I want to go out and have fun with my friends. And that doesn't really happen a lot because I feel like a parent sometimes. So this particular person is just asks a lot of someone that's not a parent, I think.
Yeah, no, I can't say I've had the same experience, but like just little bits here and there. I suppose it happens, but probably not to the extent that it's happened to you, especially with someone so close.
Yeah.
I can kind of relate in a way.
Real same with it. So.
If you knew that in 1 year you would die suddenly, would you change anything about the way you are now living, and why?
I'd be less shy, I think. I sit in class and I don't talk. I go to lectures and I sit as close to the door as I can so I don't have to deal with anyone. So I'd probably just try and not be so sheltered, I guess, in a way.
With me, I'd just cut all the shit out of my life, basically. I've got too much baggage in a way. I'm already trying to take steps to move towards that, but if I had 1 year to live, it'd be a bit more drastic. I'd just be like, go.
Yeah.
So I'd travel as well. I aspire to see the world, so I would do that for sure.
Traveling's the best. It's like an escape.
Oh, for sure. I've travelled Australia quite a bit, but I've been overseas once, and I guess Fiji. Tourist spot. Like, I want to actually properly explore and indulge in a culture and all that stuff. Here we go. We're getting deep. When did you last cry in front of another person, and when did you last cry by yourself?
Ooh. In front of another person, like yesterday on the plane, because I literally flew in yesterday from seeing my mum, so probably then. The little old lady was like, it's okay, and I just kind of sat there and cried for an hour. So that was that. Last night, probably. I don't know, you just kind of like think of things when you're by yourself and you just start like get upset.
Yeah.
And then, you watch a sad movie or something and you're just gone.
You just go.
So
it's a bit hard of a question for me because I don't cry a lot, even when I feel really sad or when I'm close. I try and pent it up, which is terrible, but I couldn't even tell you. It was a long time ago. I always try and be strong, even in the hardest times.
I fact you guys are capable of talking about that, especially guys. It's kind of hard to talk about like crying and stuff.
Yeah.
You speaking about that is good.
If a crystal ball could tell you the truth about yourself, your life, the future, or anything else, what would you want to know?
I'd probably want to know about my future and just like, I've always been kind of sad. It's like I'd like to know if I'll ever feel happy, like pure happiness, like how when you see a puppy and you're like, oh my god, like not that happy, but just like
just a moment where there's nothing else that matters.
Probably that.
Yeah, similar. I want to know if I turn up. I don't want to know specifics. I don't want to know like if I get married or who I marry or if I get like whatever. I just want to know if I end up happy or not. And then everything else can be a surprise. I like a few surprises. I don't want my life. I don't want to expect it because it just takes away the fun. So, but I want to know generally if I end up happy or not.
For what in your life do you feel most grateful?
Probably family, and it was never the case until probably moving. Like they were always there and they always did a lot, and I was always thankful for like the opportunities they gave me and what they pushed me to do. But I don't know. It was just like my family, and that was it. But then I've moved away from home. And I've lost a lot of friends and a lot of closer people along the way, just through distance primarily, but they've always been there and they're always supportive, and just things like the other week was my birthday and like parents flew down, we went out in Sydney, like just stuff like that. So like just extra grateful now, and like how supportive they've been through changes in my life. So I'll take 4 minutes and tell the following individual your life story in as much detail as possible.
Yeah, my life story isn't 4 minutes. So.
Okay.
I trust people too much, and that trust gets betrayed quite a lot. So now that's probably why I don't talk to people, and
You're a bit sheltered off. Yeah.
Because I'm just scared because of high school that's just going to happen again. And then I came to uni. I was going to take the year off. I told everyone I was because I didn't think I'd get in. But I did. I don't know how. But
everyone does somehow.
I didn't even want this degree. It was like my third preference. Like, hey, do you want to do it? And I was like, all right. But now I'm kind of at the phase where I want that time off as well. So I'm contemplating next year having a year off and going and working, or 6 months, whatever it is that I do, or even just transferring somewhere else that's not here, because I've always been in one place and I hate it, which is why I like traveling.
Fair enough.
Just because it's somewhere different. But yeah, that's my life story. Don't really have a big one.
Nah, pretty fair enough. Like, if you can find a job or something that you enjoy, like, it just gives you that bit of life experience, which does help a lot. Like, I've found, I live on college, especially living like in an environment like that. It's like you can kind of tell people who've had a gap year are just that little bit more mature, and maybe it's an age thing, or maybe it's, but I think it's I think it's like they've just had a bit of experience in life and they've dealt with some things, and when it just comes to stuff where it's like just similar to high school shit, like, just get over it. Like, there's worse things that can happen.
Tell the following individual what you like about them. Be very honest. Say things that you might not say to someone that you've just met.
I can tell you are a bit shy. You've told me you are, but you've opened up a bit here, and I felt like you would definitely open up to your friends or to the right people. So it's really good, and like, you've had your experiences, and I can tell it's just made you grow as a person. And this sounds so cliche, but it's true. Like, I don't know you from a left thumb, but you're I can tell you're a good chick. And yeah.